I'm Shane.
I'm Rowyn, and this is Lyanna.
So we are partial owners and soon-to-be residents at the Goose Creek Run Homestead, and we wanted to share a little about ourselves, starting with the youngest.
This is Lyanna. She's a 1-year-old Boston Terrier pup. Favorite color is green, and favorite animal is a zebra. I'm Rowyn. I'm 7. My favorite color is blue, and my favorite animal is a Boston. I like to play Monopoly. I like to go to dance, and I like to go to church. I also like to play Minecraft and Roblox.
A little history about Shane and I. We're both in our early 30s. We were born in the small town of Cambria, about 4 miles away from each other, but never met until after high school because we went to different schools.
I grew up on Ridge Road in Cambria. There's a lot of farms in the area, so at a young age, about 12, I started picking weeds and stuff at the local farm and getting experience and a good work ethic I think I really got from that. When I was a kid, I used to have fun in the garage with my grandfather and father, working on stuff, taking apart snowmobiles and learning mechanical skills that has been with me my whole life.
I was a pretty good kid growing up. I was book smart, athletic, ended up going to college and got a bachelor's degree in psychology. I didn't really know what I wanted to do after that, but I had a feeling that I really didn't want to be stuck in an office being a counselor. I started growing my own garden about 12 or 13 years ago. I fell in love with it right away. Shortly after that, Shane and I met. It was 2011.
Well, we met each other in 2011, and Rowyn was born in 2014. Then we got married in 2018.
During that time, we had been growing a garden at our home, and it got bigger and bigger each year. Somewhere along the line, I found a style of gardening called Back to Eden method, and we loved it. We still use it to this day. We plan on using it forever. We also had a roadside stand for a while, and we met a woman who invited us down to a one-day farmer's market in a local town. 2 things happened that day that changed our lives forever. We realized that we could grow some really great produce, organic produce, and that there was a market for that nearby. And Shane wandered over to a local beekeeper stall.
Yeah, so across from us there was a guy who had a bunch of products of different types of honey, all different kinds, and he was offering samples. So I could never pass up a free sample. I went over there and he was offering samples of comb honey. Now I had tasted honey before in stores, the regular pasteurized honey, and it didn't really do much for me. I wasn't that interested in it. But when I tasted this comb honey, it was the best thing I'd ever tasted in my life. So I said, this almost makes me want to keep bees. With that, he responded, why don't you come on over, check out the bee yard, go through some hives with me, see what you think. So later on, probably within a couple weeks, I took him up on that offer, went over and visited him, and basically from there, my love of bees has been on and growing ever since.
So that next summer, we went to one farmer's market and had the roadside stand. The summer after that, we were at 2 farmers markets. We had a 15-person CSA, and still doing the roadside stand. Everything was just, we had to get a plot down the road.
We grew way too fast. My bee hive apiary went from 2 hives. By the end of the second full season, I was up to 14 colonies, and it was getting unmanageable. I scaled up way too fast, and it was just leading to stress and other problems.
Yeah, we were just stressed out, trying to keep the garden under control, spending hours weeding. I was working full time, we were trying to hold the family together, but without getting into all the crazy details, our marriage was basically falling apart. I felt there was no way of fixing things. We sold the house, the farm, Shane's bees, and I moved out into a small apartment with Rowyn.
Yeah, that was the lowest point that I'd had in my life. I thought my family was gone, basically dissolved. But through that whole time, I had a powerful church family behind me, and I kept praying, and I wasn't ready to give up on it quite yet.
One day when Shane came over and was playing with Rowyn, I felt something shift, and I felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me maybe I should give this a second chance. Like, the heaviness was gone, the stress was gone. It felt like it used to back in the old days, like we were a family again. I saw that Shane had changed and that he was more positive and just being there for us more, a better dad and husband, and I was like, maybe we could try this again. And so we reconciled our marriage. Like, it was a true miracle. We both forgave each other.
God brought both of our hearts back together, and there was a few other circumstances behind it, but ended up having to move in to help take care of Rowyn during the days when Katie was working, and we just ended up putting it back together slowly, kind of slowly, but still pretty quick too.
Yeah, but we are happier than we've ever been, and we are so glad that we got a second chance. So we're two country people living in an apartment that we call a city, but it's probably more like a suburb. But it's a city to us, and we're like trying to figure out, how can we get back to the country lifestyle and own our own home again, give Rowyn some space to spread out.
Katie's garden was completely covering the 6 by 10 foot porch on the back with way over output per square foot.
Yeah, Shane would say once in a while, oh, I just can't wait to get back to beekeeping someday. We weren't 100% committed to leaving New York State at that time. We had never been really political, but we felt like this was our chance to show Rowyn, what we believed in. So we started doing rallies and supporting, the local movement to support our constitutional rights and freedoms. And we made signs, we got out there, but ultimately at the end of the day, I just felt like I would rather live in a state that was supporting and protecting those freedoms rather than constantly testing them.
It took us years to find our church family, Vanguard Church here in Western New York. We've been here for about 6 years now. We're members at the church. We're really in close with a lot of the people here. So we weren't really ready to leave yet.
But God kind of gave me a big confirmation, because one day I started thinking about, what if we did buy land somewhere else? What if we could homestead? Because that's something we both always thought about.
I thought it was a really good idea.
Yeah, so one day I posted on Facebook, would anyone be interested in putting in $10,000 or $15,000 each to try to buy a piece of land, and then we could split it up and all work towards building it up together. And on a completely different group, just maybe an hour later, the same exact day,
Very soon.
I saw a post by a woman named Julie, and she said, she was talking about how she had purchased some land with somebody in Tennessee, and they were looking for a couple other families to help support it, both working and financially, just to build it up and to work together as a group. And I was like, oh wow, that's like exactly what I was thinking about. I should give her a call. So I did, and I talked to her, and from the moment I started talking to her, I just felt like this is the place that I want to be. She was so nice. She had some amazing skills with animal husbandry and herbal medicine, and she was a nurse too, so I was like, wow, this is great. She really complements our skills because she knew the stuff that I wasn't really comfortable in. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to do this with the group, so everyone could help each other out with their own areas of knowledge.
I was at work and I came home and she's like, I think we found our people.
Yeah. Long story short, we were messaging Julie and Philip and the other people in the group for months. We went down in December.
Did some Zoom meetings.
Yeah, we did some Zoom meetings before that, but we've been going down every month, and after seeing the property the first time, it really became real. Like, every time we go down, we keep moving up our date to when we go back, to when we want to officially move, because it's so exciting and we just can't wait.
And the whole time through this, we've been praying about it because we don't want to jump into something. It's a big move, just leaving where we've been our whole lives and jumping into this. We've been praying for it, asking God, and the whole thing has been led by peace from the moment we started talking to them on the phone to the Zoom meetings and on to meeting them in person. It's just everything's been falling into place and God's been orchestrating our steps the whole way. Last time we went down there, on the way back home, Rowyn and Katie were sleeping. I drive at night a lot of times. And I was just thinking to myself the whole time, we should just go now. We should just go down there and wing it and try to get this thing. I didn't even really want to come back. But there are some things that, we're sad about leaving too.
Yeah, we first of all are saving up enough money so that we can keep our monthly expenses low once we get there. We want to have everything in place, solar system, all the major expenses, the one-time purchases, so that when we get down there, we can really keep our costs low. And also, we're kind of putting on the brakes a little because we have to say bye to our church family, our friends. It is really hard. We're gonna miss them so much. That's part of the reason we're doing this channel, is so people can follow along on our journey.
I'm just glad you're all here to come on this journey with us while we build this place up. And if you have any ideas, don't be afraid to comment and let us know. We're going to read the comments and get back to everybody. So please, if you like these videos and you like what we're doing, if you think it's a good idea, please like, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. It helps us out with the channel.
This is me. Just so funny.